You don't do the work to control life. You do the work to meet life differently. Let's talk about it. I'm Brittany. Hey, your manifesting mentor. I'm not a coach, I'm not a guru, but I'm a woman who walks the walk and who shares what works. So I've been reflecting on a few people who I've known who have all been walking the journey of the big C, cancer. One of the people was my god sister, and two of them were people who I met through what I do for work. And with each of them, I did what I know how to do. I prayed, I sent love, I held them in coherence, I imagined them well, I revised their circumstances, I saw their bodies receiving peace. And they still transitioned. And I had to sit with what that brought up in me, because at first I felt sad. But underneath that, there was a quiet question. Could I have done more or anything different? Especially with my god sister. We talked a lot over the past 2 years about faith, about forgiveness, about breaking emotional patterns, about making peace with life. Like me and so many others in my community, she came from a very traditional Christian background. So I was always very gentle about what I shared. But she was open. She listened, she reflected, and towards the end, she told me that she had forgiven everyone, that she felt at peace. And in one of our last conversations, I shared with her that my spirit totem, or my spirit animal, is a turtle. I even have two above my bed. And the reason it's a turtle for me is because a turtle is always at home no matter where it is. If it feels unsafe, it can go within. If it feels tired, it can go within. A turtle is always, always at home within. And it takes its home wherever it goes. But enough about that. And she shared with me that hers was a bird because it gets to fly freely. And literally moments after she said that, while I was simultaneously scrolling on my cell phone, an image appeared with birds flying out of a medicine bottle. And of course, I shared that with her because that moment didn't feel random. It felt like confirmation. Not that she was healed in the way that I imagined, but that something deeper had healed. And then I thought about the two other people I knew from what I do for work. Both of them also softened. Both of them shifted. Both of them came to an acceptance in their own way. And I realized something about this work. We don't do it to control how life unfolds. We do it to change how we meet life. Now, I did have a moment where I wondered if my intentions had failed. But then I realized what I actually did was remind them of who they were, that they were not their diagnosis. They were not their fear. They were not their pain. I reminded them of who they really were. And Neville Goddard used to say that there is no death, only a change of worlds. He even told stories of people who passed, who he still experienced as real and present in consciousness, not as a loss, but as a continuation. And when Neville taught revision, he wasn't teaching us to erase pain. He was teaching us to change the meaning of what was happening so that pain doesn't imprison the heart. So instead of revising death, I was revising the story I was telling about it. Not, I failed to help them heal, but they were not defeated. Not, I didn't manifest what I intended, but I witnessed peace where there used to be fear. I witnessed surrender where there used to be so much fight. I witnessed release where there used to be so much pain. If you are the cause, you are the cure. Not because you control life, but because you control the lens that you see it through. And sometimes the cure isn't survival. Sometimes the cure is forgiveness. Sometimes the cure is peace. I think that that's what this work is actually for. Not to escape death, but to increase the quality of life while we're here. To forgive, to soften, to love more honestly, to carry less. And sometimes the miracle isn't the body changing. It's the heart. I don't know who needs to hear this, but if you're anything like me and you're carrying grief, let this be your reminder. And you got this.